Hey friends, Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and Estaldo and I are here today to talk to you about a really special book that we think you might enjoy. It blew me away. Now, you know on here I usually talk about 2 to 3 books a week, but this week I actually just want to talk about this book because I have a lot to say about it and my mind is still kind of blown over it. So the name of this book is called Hell of a Book by Jason Mott. Hell of a book, and it's got a very striking cover, as you can see. It's very interesting. So this book is very interesting because it defies genre. It's one of those books that I hesitate to put it in any kind of genre because it doesn't really fit. It's got a little bit of a lot of different genres. For example, it's definitely contemporary fiction, but it's also got a little bit of magical realism in it. It also has a little bit of historical fiction in it. It's just hard to say exactly what this book is, other than it's phenomenal. It's also very surreal. This is a very surreal experience reading this book. So what's it about? Well, it's about an author who is not named. We do not know the name of this main character, who is the author. And he is going on a book tour promoting his book called Hell of a Book. We never really learn what the book is about. He doesn't even seem to know what it's about. He doesn't talk about it that we see in the story itself, in the context of the story. However, we do know that many characters have come up to him throughout the course of this book and say, you know, you really should be writing about the Black experience. You really should be writing about Black experiences and culture. And his publicist has told him, do not do that because it will kill your book. It will kill your career. So basically, there's this weird dichotomy going on where we don't really know what the book is about. And the author character has this condition. And the condition is that he has a really overactive imagination. Now, I know what you're thinking. Anybody can have an overactive imagination. Well, in this character's perspective, what happens is it gets so overactive that sometimes he can't really tell the difference between what's real and what's not real. Sometimes he'll imagine something and it feels so real to him, he doesn't realize that it's not actually there. So it's setting us up for a very unreliable narrator, right? So basically this book is about this author who is on this book tour, and there's this young boy that approaches him whose name is Soot. And this young boy, this young Black boy, can talk with him. They have these conversations, but no one else can see him. And he is under the impression that Soot is just somebody he made up. But Soot tells him, no, in fact, anyone could see me. I just choose for them not to because I can become invisible. See, his parents raised him to go into these things called invisibility to keep him safe. So the chapters go back and forth between this main character who is the author on his book tour to back to Soot's childhood and why he is the way he is and some of the trauma and things that he's gone through. So while this might not sound like a super remarkable plot, it really is, because soon things start to blur. The lines begin to blur between reality and his imagination, and you really have no idea, is Soot real? Is he somebody that is actually there, or is he somebody that this author has absolutely fabricated? There's a lot of speculation as to who this Soot character is, and I don't want to say what my thoughts on it are right here because I don't want to give anything away. However, I really want everybody to read this book, especially so that you can come and talk to me about it because it's so amazing. Like I said, it's realistic fiction also because it deals a lot with police brutality against Black people. It deals a lot with Black trauma and Black pain. As a white person, I have a lot of privilege in this world, in this country. And reading this book really opened my eyes to so much. Not that I didn't know what was going on, but there's just so much pain and so much history of trauma. And this book really delves into this. But at the same time, at lots of moments, this book is absolutely hilarious. For example, the opening scene of this book is the main character, the author character, running through a hotel hallway naked being chased by another man with a clothes hanger because he was sleeping with his wife and got caught. So this book is like, it goes back and forth between really funny, really serious, dark humor, lightheartedness, trauma and healing. And it's just, I finished this book and I had to just sit down with it and just not talk for a few minutes because it was so overwhelming. Such a intense, emotional story. And I've got a quote from here that actually there's two that I want to read you that I think really just help to sum this book up. Happy? No. I'm not sure Black people can be happy in this world. There's just too much of a backstory of sadness that's always clawing at their heels. And no matter how hard you try to outrun it, life always comes through with those reminders letting you know that, more than anything, you're just a part of an exploited people and a denied destiny. And all you can do is hate your past and, by proxy, hate yourself. And the next one is even more powerful, I think. Being who we are, it's hard. We get shot or put in jail. It's all we see. It's all we know. Our whole story is about pain and loss, slavery and oppression. It defines us. It seeps into our skin. We bleed it even as we're covered by it. All we want is to be something other than the pain that we have been born into. All we want is to be known for something else. We want the great history we see in others. And all we're ever given is the story of being in pain and being forced to overcome. Because that's the other aspect of this book that I just want to briefly mention is culpability and responsibility. And whether if you are from a group of people, a minority or sexual orientation or whatever, if you're in a group of people that has been typically oppressed, right, or repressed, what responsibility do you bear to show your art, to show your creation? Do you have the responsibility to showcase that pain? Do you have the right to keep it to yourself? What does that have to do with healing? How can art heal? So many interesting points that this book brings up. And like I said, phenomenal book. I loved it. I'm going to be thinking about it for a really long time now that I finished it. I'm going to recommend it to everybody. I want everybody to read this book, even if it's just selfishly so that you'll come into the library and talk to me about it, because I want to know what you think about it. And this is just blew me away, this book. Hell of a book, and it was indeed a hell of a book by Jason Mott. So that's the one I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If it sounded interesting to you. If so, please feel free to come pick it up from the Farmington Community Library. And like I said, either leave a comment below if you've read it and you want to discuss it with me, or come into the library and see me and we'll have a conversation. Thanks so much, friends, and have a wonderful rest of the day.